Hi guys, let's make another video about ArcoNet. ArcoNet is the most important ISO of them all, because with it you can install any of the desktops. So basically it's all the ArcoLinux Bs in one, and XL and XS, it's all in one, right? You boot up with two kernels, 3 lines for each kernel. Either you have this one, Intel, AMD, anything for VirtualBox, or you have an NVIDIA card. Let's hope a new one, because it's NVIDIA DKMS. That's the support behind it. And if you don't know or nothing of these two guys work, then it's no mode set, which is safe graphics. And here we start again with another kernel. So that's the list. Let's start with line number 4 this time. Each video is something a little bit different. So all the ArcoNets, we're going over the installation of everything. All the desktops, so each desktop has an installation guide, and each time I tell something different, right? Now, ArcoNet needs an online connection, right? It's up to you to manage your own network. Do you have a DHCP server or a firewall or a router or something in the internet that gives you an IP address? Not only that, IP, subnet mask, gateway, DNS, it all needs to work. And then you got internet. Best thing is to hook you up on a LAN cable, which is always going to work. And otherwise it's going to be Wi-Fi. Figure out how to get to your Wi-Fi. That's one of the reasons we have two kernels, right? A kernel basically checks your motherboard and finds out, hey, what's on there and how do I get on the internet, is one of the things it will do. So here we have the network manager. There's also the possibility to edit connections, enable, disable, and get things done. Also in the way that you have VPNs. Some of the guys out there, live in countries that block things, and you need to have then something to get through, get out, right? To get to the internet. Easy installation is always going to be offline, so no worries about internet or wires or cables or routers, etc. The information is something just to remember again. How was it again on ArcoLinux, right? So an ArcoNet Advanced XFC 4, what you see is what you get if you go for a easy install, right? The easy install. But if you go for advanced installation, you've got to have internet, because it's gonna go to the internet. It's gonna remove XFCE, keep SDM, keep all the apps, but then, well, up to you, right? Choose. And this time we're gonna choose Deepin. It's the next one. I always choose one of the 3. So basically, if you don't know what this is, ArchWiki Grub, ArchWiki System Deboot, and ArchWiki Refined, and you read, and there are lots of videos of other people and from me about these 3. But as a rule, maybe a general rule, if you don't know, you don't have time, take Grub. So that launches, and then it's up to you. It's a little bit long and complex, which gives you lots of freedom, but you need also some knowledge about everything, right? You choose the language. I suggest keep it in English. You see the English terms. You see you can Google the English terms. There are always things that you need to type. The text editor settings give me XFCE appearance, and you have something to Google, right? Names. Sorry, like this. And then next. Oh yeah, I was there. So I could have made this screen a little bit bigger. In display, there's the button, but doesn't matter. So language is for a desktop. In Deepin it will be probably applied. It depends on the desktop, right? If you want to have Japanese or Spanish, here Espanol, right? It depends on the desktop. Do they have translations? It won't happen on DWM or ChatWM or i3, stuff like that. But desktops often have these translations. Then you have, well, a desktop in your language, right? And otherwise it doesn't exist. It's going to be just English. We have already 2 kernels, so there's no need to do it. Maybe you want to have Intel ucode. No idea what this is. ArchWiki microcode. ArchWiki microcode. And you check it out what it is. Often I'm too lazy to install it. I have no AMDs. I have Intels, but I don't install it. But it's up to you to decide such things. Is it working better afterwards? trial and error, right? Remove it again if it's not working. Here are some video, well, drivers basically, right? Linux drivers. By default, they're not on your system. If you are unsure, you can always do a sudo pacman. Yeah, let's go to Azerty, right? You can do a sudo pacman minus remove xf86. What you see is what you get, right? Only video VMware is there, which is logic because we're on VirtualBox, right? So none of these guys are here. If you think you need it because you've done a study, Arch Wiki, and then Nouveau maybe, right? Or AMD, etc., you decide to install it or not. Try it without it, because often the kernel figures out where it is, what you need, and it will supply you a graphical display, right? Yeah, a desktop, something graphical. SDM is already there, so no need to do it unless you say I would like to have the other themes as well. Again, same thing. Does it exist? Is it already on my machine? What you see is what you get. So ArcoLinux, this is what you'll get, right? This is what you'll get. Is there anything about SDM? Just the one, right? Just the one. The one we always start with, the default. Anything in there you like as well, you just click it and say, I want that one as well. I like that one. And then we're at the desktop. We've made videos about all the guys above. So today we're going to make one for Deepin, and we're going down the list, and each time I'll tell something different in all these videos. Previous was X11. This is Wayland. Wayland is still, well, experimental. Yes, GNOME and Plasma both go to Wayland and make their move, right? Transition. But some of the things will not work, will half work, or will work, right? It's not that bad either. Depends what application you find is critical. They say, I can't live without that application, and it's not working in Wayland, then you won't use it. So stick to X11 for the time being. And there we have the list of all kinds of themes as well, or 50-ish, I think, between 50 and 60 themes, all colors. The Arc theme with a different color, not the blue color. So this is already something different. This is Dawn. So it's not the blue, it's a little bit darker, softer for the eyes. It's a choice, as usual, like wallpapers, icons, themes, it's a choice. And you choose. And from here is all third party. So all of these things are not from us, right? We just build it for you. It's on a repo. It's no time at all, right? Building means downloading and really minutes of work for the machine to build an application. This is pre-built. All of this is pre-built. It's just click, boom, download, and of course, and install. That will take its time. So the more you select here, the longer it will take. Do you have a fast internet? If this is the stable internet, are the ArcoLinux servers set right? So that's the face up here. Did you think about updating the Arch mirrors? Did you think about cleaning your SSD, NVMe, or hard disk? So these things are things you can, well, have to do in advance before you launch Calamaris. And all of this is just a choice. Your click to have it or not have it, right? Themes and graphics and games and terminals and file managers. There's quite a bit of stuff you can install. You choose where you live for the clock, then you tell them how to type. That's great. And then we have already something. As you see, we have these partitions. And the best thing basically to do is clean everything out. So erase the disk is the option I would go for, and then say let's go for swap no hibernate. Just examples I'm doing. I've made a lot of videos already. I think we've chosen this one, that one. I don't think we've done XFS. So let's go for XFS. It's a choice, right? Many distros don't give you this long list, but just one or two or no list at all. Just ButterFS or just JFS, and it's fixed. I've actually made videos to bypass that, but that's something else. You find it on our YouTube channel. Next. Voila. And then we go for install. As you see, this gives you another summary. We've taken enough place, 2 GB for device SDA for EFI, for the boot, everything that's in the boot, everything that needs to be well, launched, the boot files. But it always depends. We have now 3 ways to boot up, and if that happens, it's now May, I think somewhere in January, February, somewhere happened that there was a complete kernel, which is like 100 megabytes up there, and if you install a kernel and another kernel and another kernel, right, with 250, 500 megabytes, it was full. It was completely full. And if you can't change anything, if the partition, this blue thing or this red thing, it's full, you'll get the message, hey, we can't update your kernel, right? Your hard disk is full. So the partition here is a little bit bigger, so we don't have that issue, and we're free to do whatever you want with our kernels. So installing now, and then we wait, and we'll see that somewhere down here, well, this is the bit where you do an rsync, which means copy paste from A to B. That's it, right? There's no brain, there is no artificial intelligence. Here's a squashed image. Unsquash that now and make a copy. That's the what you see is what you get, right? All of this is now being burned, written to your system. And at some point in time we say, let's remove XFCE4 and XFCE4 goodies, because we want to have whatever desktop you've selected. Right, this is gonna be Deepin, and maybe and then we'll pause the video. The only place to find information, one of the places to find information is Arch Wiki Deepin, and it's without the G. It's a bit strange, it's without the G, and then voila, Deepin desktop environment. And you go read, right? This is what we all need to do when learning about a new desktop. We investigate, what is this Deepin thing about? Where is it coming from? It's coming from deepin.org, right? Deepin.org. And maybe we'll tell you if it's not okay on Arch. We tell you, go and grab this thing. If you really want to have Deepin, this is the ISO. It's not Arch, it's Deepin. And we are at version 23, I see here. And yes, ArcoLinux will do its best. But what it does is ensure that all these Deepin packages, right, are up to date. And basically they're coming from Linux Deepin, the GitHub of Linux Deepin. 6 months ago there was an update here, a commit. They changed this, they changed that, and ArcoLinux will try to make packages, well, that work as a total. All the packages that are in here should work separately, but of course as a whole it should work with all the versions. You see here a red thing, a version that's out of date, right? So Deepin Turbo and Deepin wallpapers, that's no problem. Wallpapers, if they're out of date, but it is maintained by Arch. That's my message, right? It's not maintained by ArcoLinux. We have nothing to do with this. It's Arch, it's coming from this source, and you either trust it or you don't. Can Deepin be trusted is one of the questions people ask us from time. It's up to you to make up your mind if you trust it. And if it's not working on Arch, it's up to you to decide to download it from Deepin itself, or decide to just choose another desktop, right? It's entirely up to you to make all these decisions. But you have to read a little bit, board in China's Linux open source community, etc., and decide whether it's still valid for you to use it in current, well, 2024. So let's wait for this to finish. We have, of course, we should end with that. Whatever we have shared already with you, you'll find it on the ArcoLinux D. The D stands for the desktops, stands also for ArcoLinux University. There is phases that we suggest you can follow. Don't need to do anything, freedom. But here are a few videos about Deepin, things we explained in the past that will be still valid today, or in the meantime, right? Design has a little bit changed. It's always like that. It's a project of 6 years, ArcoLinux already. So yeah, they changed their desktops, which is good, right? Let's move on. But there is something to be said about Deepin, and maybe you remember Deepin having this bird, this green-blue bird as a wallpaper. And we've been saying for years now, a 6 years product of ArcoLinux, that birdie is sick again. That means Deepin is somehow not working 100%. So that's a little bit our summary of the last 6 years. There's always something that's not working, and we're not gonna fix it, right? This is a desktop from somebody else. It's not up to us to fix anything. But if it doesn't work, voila, it doesn't work. Either you live with it, try to figure it out in Chinese. I've done my work. I've tried to read Chinese forums and all that, and then translate, of course, in English. But I mean, it's what it is. And yes, from time to time, things are not 100%. It's not like they're 50%, but it's, well, a little bit of frustration seems to go hand in hand with Deepin on Arch, right? Don't mistake me here. We're talking about ArcoLinux Deepin, not the deepin.org ISO. That's probably gonna be maintained, right? That's the original. That's the one they work on. So let's wait for everything to install. We are probably, what are we doing? Well, we'll see. So let's pause here and we'll be back. There we are. Let's restart and see what and if there is something wrong with Deepin. Now remember, this is VirtualBox, so anything sandboxy, anything virtual might react differently than something real metal. So that's a thing, and let's see how it looks today. So a new Deepin, if you install it today, you get the packages of today, it's all up to date. People sometimes ask me, when is this version is coming? When is it coming on ArcoLinux? It's just following Arch, right? It is Arch. It's getting the packages from the Arch Linux repositories globally. So between 500 and 600 servers are updated every single minute. So those packages come to your system. And there's a testing repo. Don't use it, right? Unless you know what you're doing. Testing repos is where they test these new packages, and once they're okay, they're released, they're moved out of testing into our repos. And that's when we get it, right? The new version, let's say Plasma 5 to Plasma 6, it will come after the testing. And then we get it, right? It's always up to date. It's always the last thing. But we have to wait for the ArcoLinux guys. So you know this one, ArcoLinux Welcome App. You can auto start it, you quit it, install software is SoftwareM, launch ArcoLinux 3 tool, ATT, update where are my packages coming from these days, and the screen resolution. This is more for the tiling window managers, so we have a button and an app that says come on, make this bigger, right? But this is a desktop, and desktops often have their own settings. So let's have a quick look. We have this button. If things are working, yes, it's working, right? So we have this as choice, as menu. We can scroll through it. This is still ArcoNet. All the apps that were on there are still on there, plus all the apps now from Deepin, right? So the old apps are still there. ArcoLinux Tweak tool is here, ArcoLinux Tweak application here, AG and ArcoLinux desktop. It's all here. The movie, that's something else. Those are apps from Deepin. And you test it out. Is that working? I don't know, right? Frankly, I'm just installing Deepin. I'm not working on Deepin, right? Because I know of the fact that, yeah, it's a little bit sick from time to time. We have here some things that we can change, some light and sound that we can change. On board is here available. The system monitor is here. That changed. It used to be an app. Now it slides in. Processes. Okay, there was something happening down there, but nope, it's gone again. Voila. So display, where would I go? Probably type settings or something. On board settings, print settings, Qt5 settings. No settings here. That's music, I think it is. These are all folders: desktop, documents, pictures, and computer. This is free sorting, all apps. Let's see if we can find something. What about if settings doesn't work? Deepin. These are all the Deepin stuff. System monitor, screen capture, music, movie, image viewer. Control center is the name we need to remember now. Cameras, album, archive, etc. So control center. This is what we have. Let's make the display a little bit bigger. The display is virtual 1, brightness change, resolution recommended. It's better to have this, my friend. And off they go. So that's a good thing. That applies immediately. There's no save button. Already was thinking, where is the button, right, to save things? Can't seem to save, right? I was saying can't make it smaller, but I had to push the button first, save. You can make this bigger here, everything works fine, right? And then you go through all the list, what is available, personalization, you can change the look of things. Quickly a few. So the accent color here. Appearance auto. This doesn't seem to work. That one, we've got all the SADI and surfing things, but of course we've got the most important things are these guys, right? So organic glass and Z and hazy color and flow. Those are the icons from Deepin. Here's the cursor theme, a cursor theme, square, macaron. So yeah, there are a few things in here that we don't have in all the desktops, and that's probably well, a selling point, right? Something interesting, something to look forward to. These are all the settings. Voila. To change. And the one thing that is not working, not on VirtualBox anyway, is this button, right? There's always something in Deepin. So I'd like to power off at this point in time with the packages of today. I can't, right? There's no action button. This works. So right mouse click and shut down. I can click it, but this is not shut down, right? It's not working, not on VirtualBox. Again, I don't know how it reacts on real metal, but we have something as sudo shutdown now. Right? So there's always ways to do it, and there's always something that you say, that's not working. Always something, and that's Deepin for you. So you decide to install it on Arch, or you say, nah, I'm gonna use deepin.org and see if that works there. All right, enjoy Deepin.